Nobody gets it. Nothing you think matters matters. This isn't special. This is happening infinite times across infinite realities.
Including this?
Yes! Which is not to say that subjectively it wasn't funny.
Are you going to stay?
There's infinite timelines, Morty. Why would I stay in the one where I trashed the White House, became an enemy of America, and am the lowest status character in my idiot family?
Because of the fart?
Hey everybody, this is going to be my Season 3 finale, Season 4 Q&A. Just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the episodes yet. The really cool news that just dropped is that Rick and Morty is now the all-time highest viewed series on Adult Swim, and it is now the leading comedy amongst people ages 18 to 45. More people are watching Rick and Morty than are watching The Simpsons or traditional network animation. Like, it's crushing everything else. So if you ever wondered if they were going to do more Rick and Morty, that is a clear indicator that they are doubling down. I really hope that Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon were able to use that information when they were renegotiating their contracts to try and get some more money. I mean, if your series is blowing up, you deserve to be paid more money. But here we go. First question, Antrax asks, maybe why episode 10 didn't feel really like a season finale is because 14 would have been the end and they just added the after the credits scene. Well, they actually probably figured out they were only going to do 10 episodes in the middle of production, so I think it was planned that way at least midway through the season. When I say that, I'm talking about when they were writing the scripts. Like, when they sensed that it was taking a lot longer, they're like, okay, we can only handle 10 episodes this season. So that's probably when they picked their endpoint and why they chose to do Mr. Poopy Butthole, just because of the big delay between Season 2 and Season 3.
Tune in to Rick and Morty Season 3 in like a year and a half or longer to see how we unravel this mess. Ooh-wee! See ya for Season 4 in like a really long time.
Next one, Crazy Monkey asks, there was a scene in the trailer for Season 3 with 2 summers, but it never showed up this season. What happened? Well, not every scene from those intros each season makes it into the actual season, or sometimes they get deleted at the animatic stage like they intended to put it in, but then it gets cut out. I'll do a video in the next week or so for all the deleted scenes going back to Season 1. Next one, Nazif asks, do you think that there'll be another interdimensional cable episode, maybe in which all of them are aware they're characters of a TV show? So you just mean like a really meta episode? Actually, the interdimensional cable thing is probably something they'll never try again, or at least not in the way that they've done it before. The whole idea with Morty's Mind Blowers is the writer who pitched it said that he pitched it trying to do another interdimensional cable to the network. They agreed to it as it was this way. So they might have actually shot down them doing interdimensional cable again, or maybe the writers decided they didn't want to beat that idea to death, but they'll continue to do anthology episodes like that where you jump through a bunch of different stories within a single episode. And I don't know that we'd ever get an episode where everybody figured out they're in a TV episode. I think Jerry deserves to be the dumbest character for the rest of the series run. 97 more years of Jerry being dumb as rocks. Maybe once Morty becomes fully actualized, if that ever ends up happening on the show, that's when he'd figure out he was inside a TV show. Whole bunch of Evil Morty questions too. Jace asks, what if Evil Morty isn't evil? Well, so I think the idea behind that is that nobody really thinks of themselves as evil. Like, Rick does some evil seeming things, but technically he's not an evil character. I think part of the idea of the name Evil Morty is a parody itself of evil characters in television shows. Like the idea of Hammer Morty or Fly Fishing Rick, like it's utterly ridiculous. Like, you're meant to laugh at the name and at the character separately at the same time. Next one, Jordan asks, do you think that Evil Morty, Tammy, and Phoenix Person will form an alliance? If so, how would that work? What would their endgame be? Well, I think the idea is that Evil Morty is a master at playing other people, so I think he just tried to play on the idea of Tammy and Phoenix Person trying to get Rick's portal technology. I've said it before, but I think that if they do go after Rick, their goals will be a little bit different. Like, they wanted his portal technology before, but if Evil Morty has access to that already, he could offer it to them, but there'd also have to be another reason for Tammy to want to take Rick down. So Evil Morty would have to manipulate her into thinking that C-137 Rick was a threat because he wants to take Phoenix Person away from her. They'd have to play on her emotions. Like, it depends on how she really feels about Phoenix Person. But a lot of that's just speculation. I think when the characters pop back up, they'll pop back up in separate stories that are unrelated from each other. Next question, this is a good one. Luke asks, do you think that Tammy and Morty are related in some sort of way? Like, there's some sort of resemblance between them, like a female version of Morty who's created a plan to use Bird Person to kill our main characters, and she hates the way that Rick treats Morty's. So basically you're asking if Tammy is a version of Morty in some twist on Evil Morty. I don't think that's the case, but I do like the idea that she has a personal vendetta against Rick. If you rewatch a lot of the earlier scenes from season 2 with Tammy when she's first getting with Bird Person, they're really funny, but she's just meant to be that awful girlfriend character that co-ops your friend. Like, Rick really loves Bird Person, but now he's spending all of his time with Tammy, so Rick hates Tammy, the girlfriend. But then the series turns it into more of a literal thing where she really becomes evil and actually kills and then resurrects Bird Person. So whereas she was like this really big annoying character before, now she's a legit threat to Rick. And before those characters can move forward, Rick has to learn that Phoenix Person is still alive. And so far we've seen no indication of that. Next one, this is another good one. Brian asks, what if Mr. Poopy Butthole is controlled by Evil Morty and he's gathering info on Rick? Like you're saying, in all those pictures that we see on his wall, I don't think that's the case either, but I do love the idea of Evil Morty slowly controlling people around Rick. The early speculation is that his ultimate plan is to turn everyone against Rick. Like right now, he called himself out as the lowest status person in the family, and if Evil Morty really wanted to get at Rick, he'd have to turn our Morty against him along with the rest of his family. Like he could have killed them all at the end of the episode, wiped the slate clean, and gone to a different reality, but the sheer fact that he puts up with all their bullshit at the end of the episode proves that he loves them. Next one, Zeb Thesby asks, do you think that Scary Terry, the Devil, and Jaguar will return? No, I'm not expecting them to return, maybe in pictures in the background or like really small Easter eggs, but I think that was part of the idea with the end tag with Jaguar. Like that was the joke that he would come back. He's always helping them out.
Jaguar!
Who was that, Rick?
That, Morty, is why you don't go to therapy.
Next one, Jessica asks, when do you think that Morty will try the legendary Szechuan sauce? That's a good question with all the real-life Szechuan sauce stuff that's been happening. I don't know if they'd ever get super literal with it inside the TV show. The idea that Morty would taste something that Rick is willing to wait 97 years to get. So just because of the extreme way they played that joke at the end, I'm not expecting them to bring that back, but there might be some wrappers in a trash can or something in the background, just some sort of visual reference that there was some Szechuan sauce at some point between seasons. Next one, Roger asks, what's the deal with Rick being afraid of pirates but also making Pirates of the Pancreas in the holiday episode? I think that was actually mostly part of that Wikipedia joke, like the government got all their information from him from that and most of it was false, with a few exceptions. I guess you could get really philosophical about it and say that Rick is trying to express his fears in some physical form, but really I think that was more of a Wikipedia joke and not meant to be connected to that season 1 joke. So you can treat that as canon if you want, or you can just treat it as a one-off funny thing. Next one, Daniel asks, what would you do if you made a Rick and Morty episode? What would it be? It would probably just be a mythology episode. I probably wouldn't get too complicated. I'm not an animator, obviously I don't have those skills, so I would probably just stick to Evil Morty and simple stuff like that. Sometimes you don't realize how hard episodes like Morty's Mind Blowers are, but they can be fun because you don't have to write like an entire 20-minute story that ends up being a whole bunch of pages for little one-off jokes. Like there were some really great brief moments, and they were really only pieces of stories without having to go super deep on it.
Young man, come here, little boy. Tell Daphne to run a 199 on a possible Doolittle. Little boy!
But next one, Muffin Cat asks, what about season 4 are you most excited about? I would say probably the mythology stuff, just like the big hanging story threads that they didn't wrap up at the end of the season. Like, hey, we're totally not going to tell you what happened to Evil Morty at the end of that episode. The other real big thing that I loved about this season was the couple of times that I was just absolutely blown away with surprise. Like Morty's memory of getting engaged to Mr. Poopy Butthole, something so ridiculous that you never would have thought that they would ever do something like that in a million years. That was more surprising to me than Evil Morty. Like, people have been wondering about Evil Morty since that season 1 episode. What is he doing? But how many of you have actually wondered about Morty getting engaged to Mr. Poopy Butthole? You can just hear the sound of everybody everywhere falling out of their chair laughing. But thank you so much for submitting questions. These are always a ton of fun to do. I will keep doing Rick and Morty Q&As every once in a while if you guys want me to, but that's in addition to the regular bonus videos I'll be doing. So there'll be new Rick and Morty on Friday, maybe on Saturday too, and then next week. So just leave all your requests for bonus videos in the comments below. But there's a new round of that Zen Monkey Studios merch giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on the video. Congratulations to the winner from the last video, Jimmy Plays. Please private message me so I can get your contact details. You can click here for my season 4 video, and you can click here for the new Flash trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.